Return to Silent Hill tells the tale of when a man receives a mysterious letter from his lost love. He is drawn into Silent Hill, a once familiar town, now consumed by darkness. This is adapted from a video game, and it's got a lot of familiar beats from the first movie with the familiar monsters like the nurses. Pyramid Head shows up, and it's a visually striking film in not necessarily a good way because they use a lot of flash photography in this where a couple times I had to cover my eyes because it was just flash, 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 flash. It's like, guys, what are you doing here? I don't know if this is exactly pleasurable to watch. Now, I got to preface everything here by saying I was a big fan of the first movie. I thought that movie was extremely well done. It still holds up, in my opinion. And I think it's one of the better video game adaptations out there. And I was really anticipating this one. That out of the way, I gotta say that I don't know if I'm on board with this one. The main character James here. Um, he's not really a likable character, and that's fine because if you know the game, he's got a lot of bad things with his past going on that does get revealed throughout the film. It's just kind of boring, right? Okay, so he gets this letter and he's got to go back into town to figure out what the heck is going on. But there's a lot of just static shots of him looking at himself in the mirror. There's flashback sequences where it's like, okay, this is going to start to fill in the gaps, but it's cutting into the story at beats where it's like, you just set up this really cool monster, and now you're going to show me this background story of him walking into the town. It kind of ruins the pacing. So it's got some pacing issues. It's got some flash photography issues. And when I look at the synopsis of the video game, and I try to compare it. It's got some beats in there for sure. It does look like it's following the outline loosely, but I find that I think most video game fans will not appreciate this game because it takes a little too much of the liberties to convert it to the screen. And while I liked some aspects of it, the dialogue like is not that great. The imagery is good, but it's just Christoph Gaines here who comes back. He's the director of the first movie, so that's why I thought this one would be good. But it's kind of like amateur. The dialogue is not very well written, and they're trying to sell you that this guy's broken. He's trying to find out what happened to his wife or come to terms with the loss of his wife, which is fine. But I don't like people will say that he's not a very good actor. This Jeremy Irvine. This Jeremy Irvine is not a very good actor. People will tell you that he's not a very good actor. And I kind of got to say that it's more of the script issue. Uh, the script just kind of lets you down. It's like they're telling us what he's doing while he's doing it, kind of thing, right? Okay, I guess I'll pick up this bag of sand now. But we see you picking up the bag of sand, so you don't need to tell us, for God's sakes. And that happens so many times in the beginning of the script of the movie that it just takes you out of it. And when that happens, you just don't find yourself immersed in the movie, right? So with the tomato meter score being as low as it is, 12%, 32 by the audience, it's not resonating with fans. It's not resonating with critics. And I don't know if you're going to find this enjoyable. If you are a fan of the first movie like I was, then you want to see what's going on in this. What are they trying to accomplish? And yes, it does follow some of the same beats. They try to put too much, I would say, at the end. Like they try to incorporate all of the multiple endings, and it's just like I don't know if that works, man. I don't know if that works. And then there's certain points of that editing style of we're going to cut to a flashback now. It's jarring and it takes you out of it. It loses its momentum along the way. It's not as well executed as the first film. And as much as I love being back in this universe here of Silent Hill, I just got to say this just wasn't all that particularly scary. No, the imagery was kind of horrific, but Primate and the Bone Temple were definitely a lot more violent and gruesome than this. And I was expecting a lot more gruesomeness in this. I really was, and it kind of let me down. So, with that being said, let's go over to my score sheet here and start filling out some numbers for Return to Silent Hill. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of 1. Now, the acting, Jeremy Irvine tries, really tries. Like, I would say that it's serviceable. It's serviceable because while he tries, Hannah Emily Anderson here plays, well, actually a couple of roles, and she's good. When she's on the screen, she's the girlfriend. Uh, she does a great job. Um, and she kind of jumps off the screen at a couple times where it's like, oh, Maria, okay, you look exactly like her, but okay, I see what you're doing here. But you're just captivated by her persona and presence that you're like, okay, I'll go along with it, but is it anything mind blowing acting wise? She tries. There's a couple of scenes where she really tries, and based on that, I think I will give the acting. Oh, no, it's so hard though, because the directing and the script really pulled back on that, but because you can see that she was really trying, and so was Jeremy. They were trying, and I'm not going to fault them as actors. I'm going to fault the script and the director. So the director, um, I don't even know if I can say that the technical aspects here were handled all that well because of all that flashy photography. Like it really gets annoying at some points, guys. The flash. It's like, okay, no, I can't watch this. I got to turn away from the screen. So uh, they had a competent story, but I think this is a weak effort directing wise. Point 0.5. It also reeks of studio interference towards the end. Um, it just doesn't land. And it's got the right ingredients. It's got the right layout, the format, the framework here is there. It's just not executed all that well. And I know fans of the video game will be like, okay, this is exactly what happened in the game. I like to see this stuff, but you're not filling it out with story and character to make me actually have that resonant punch towards the end that they want you to have. The payoff in this is that there's a good revelation that's just like, well, it feels so wilted and deflated because it's just you weren't building up to that. You were interjecting all of these weird cuts and stuff that lost the momentum of it along the way. So while I appreciate what they were trying to do, and I'm being very generous with this one, um, I'm going to give it a 1 because I liked what they were trying to do. Cinematography, man, it's not good. But even at its best, like it's competently framed at points, but the style of it I don't like. The score is serviceable. Uh, um, so as you see, we're sitting at 4 out of 10. Let's go back to the tomato meter and see what some of the critics were saying because I find it hard to believe that 12%. Uh, yeah, I don't know. New York Times. Return to Silent Hill aims for a similar uncanniness. Sometimes the actors look like digital doubles, but the result is less Phantom Realm, more jumbled assembly of cutscenes. Well, that goes to the editing style that I was talking about, right? Now, is there a lot of digital doubles in here? Yeah, there is when it gets floaty and stuff like that. Okay, AV Club says, goofy and low rent. It's a dire look at what happens when you can't leave the past behind, whether you're a horror game character or a video game movie filmmaker. Uh, let's go over to some more notable critics. Matt Donato, 2 out of 5. Between the poor performances, dismally edited storytelling, and humbled Fright Night entertainment, Return to Silent Hill is anything but a warm welcome home for horror movie and video game fans. Yeah, it's I wouldn't say that it's poor performances. Like that's what I was trying to articulate about the script, and you will know what I'm talking about when it comes to the script about just like I'm going up the stairs. I'm going over here now. And well, we see you doing it. So why are you telling us this? Right? Instead of getting lost in its psychological labyrinth, it lacks the impact. Its lack of impact lands with an unfortunate hollow thud. All right. So somebody who did give it a good score here. It shouldn't work, and it doesn't a lot of the time, says Seattle Times. But there's something compelling in how it all wraps up. How decisions that floundered in the moment feel a little more justified once the credits roll, which are awesomely stylish for some reason. I didn't stick for the credits. As soon as the credits came up, I was out of there because I was like, this is not exactly what I was hoping for. Um, and I don't know if it's going to be one of those ones where I will want to go back and revisit to try to look for some redeeming qualities because it's not one of those efforts either. Uh, yeah, it's just it's a disappointment, and it's kind of a bummer because I do like this franchise. I do like this universe. I do like the tone and eeriness of this kind of like elseworld zombie ghouls and monsters pyramid head. It's just it didn't work for me, and I don't think it's going to work for a lot of people out there. So I kind of have to agree with the low scores. But let's wrap this up on my score sheet here for the watchability factor. That's out of a possible 2 points. If you are curious about the first film, you'll want to see this at least once, right? So there you go. I'm going to give it a full point. Watch it on streaming when you got nothing else to do. This could very easily be a 4.5 out of me, but I've kind of been very, very generous for the acting. Uh, 5 out of 10 for Return to Silent Hill. It's got some good moments in there, some very dark imagery, which I really enjoyed, but it was few and far between. 5 out of 10 for Return to Silent Hill. If you saw this movie and have some thoughts about it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, we also reviewed Mercy with Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson. Let me know what you thought about that one as well. You're watching Mirror Domains. Okay, I really fumbled the ball in the beginning of that one, but the purpose was that I could go back and I'm going to fix that in the edit. God, that was rough. It was tough to spit it out too. It really was. Did I get everything that I wanted to say? I think so. Imagine you wake up strapped to a chair in a prison cell, and you have to defend yourself against an AI judge who's played by Rebecca Ferguson. Hmm. Hold on. Is there a good image? Yeah, there she is. Imagine you wake up and strapped. Imagine you wake up strapped in a chair and you don't know what's going on. You are going to have to defend yourself to an AI judge, and you're accused of murder. Boy, that doesn't sound good. However, the judge, the judge is played by Rebecca Ferguson. However, the judge is played by Rebecca Ferguson. Ooh. Mercy stars. Oof, ooh, that's rough. Mercy stars Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, and it tells the tale of a near future. A detective stands trial, accused of murdering his wife. He has 90 minutes to prove his innocence to the advanced AI judge he once championed before it determines his fate. Now, if you saw the trailers for this, it was an actual intriguing premise where you've kind of got to prove your innocence. You get the impression that, okay, it's going to be told all from this one room, and we're going to have to figure out what uh, um, this event is that made you think that I was murdering my wife. And it's a very good premise, And it does feel like this was meant for something that was streaming. It really does. It comes in at a shocking 23% on the tomato meter. Why? So a lot of critics are not liking this film. But I found myself oddly engaged with it. It took a while to get in, though. It was kind of like sitting in a hot tub where it's like, you got to ease yourself into this. Uh, you're spending a lot of time in the beginning here trying to establish the premise of him being stuck in a cell and having to try to defend himself because he at first resists this. And as you present evidence, you get this meter here that says your guilt is going down or up. And it's like, okay, I'm sort of on board with that idea, but Chris Pratt's character is not all that likable. And they were using that unlikability as kind of a mechanism to add texture to the story. And of course, then you're looking at Rebecca Ferguson as the judge, which I thought she did a good job, but it's also this kind of like, she doesn't really exist, right? What I found engaging about it, though, is if you've ever watched those cop cam videos of them making arrests or those detective videos where they find disturbing evidence on the crime scene, it kind of uses that kind of a mechanism to solve the case. So it's a mystery. It's a mystery of who done it kind of thing, and he's got to try to prove his innocence here. Uh, and some aspects work, and the ending I found was good, but it felt like they were trying to shoehorn and make too many twists and turns that just felt a little, well, not that realistic. It took too many liberties with it, where you're just like, uh, I'm on board with this. This seems like a solid streaming experience because that's what it is. It says see it in 3D. You don't need to see this movie in 3D. There's nothing about this that screams 3D. Nothing. Uh, but it's got some good elements in there that I think if you watch this on a streaming service, whatever one it's going to be on, I think you're going to find some enjoyment in it. It's going to be something along the along the lines of not the beekeeper, but it's kind of like there's something about it like that aspect where it's like I like this. It's not a great movie, but there's things in here that I like, and I don't think it warrants the 23% that it's getting on the tomato meter. But let's go over to my score sheet here for Mercy and start filling out some numbers. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points. Cinematography and score are out of 1. Acting, Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson carry this film because there are many scenes where it's just them. She's on the screen and he's in the chair, and if you don't buy into that scenario, then you're not going to like this movie. But because they are good enough, they do engage you enough. I got to award the acting 1.5 right there, straight up. Directing, the technical aspects, it's well shot. You can tell though that they were using AI because it's about AI to make some of the visual effects. And I have absolutely no problem with that because I think that's exactly where we're going in the future so that we can cut down costs so we don't have to go out on the street and blow something up. We don't have to go out and film a big truck crashing into a building because AI will create that for us. If you are a detective with the eye to figure out where the CG and visual effects are, then you will be able to tell, no doubt about that. But if you're just a casual person on your phone, chatting with your friends, it's going to work for you. Maybe seeing it on the smaller screen. There's nothing 3D about this that you need to see. If you were on those big helicopter kind of rides, vehicles that they had, and you saw a POV of like that, then maybe that would be worthy of 3D. But nah, you don't need to see that. Story works because of that premise I liked. But as I said, it's hard to like him because he's not a very likable character to begin with. And even towards the end, you still don't know if you like him. But it's kind of like you get enthralled with him uncovering the mystery and trying to solve the case, that it hooks you in like that. It keeps you engaged like that. So And I don't like some of the rope-a-dope stuff that they were doing at the end where they're trying to like, oh no, no, this was the real thing that was going on. It'll work for some. It's not going to for others. Directing, I reserve the right to come back for that. Cinematography, I did like though. Cinematography was good. It felt like you really were flying around behind the helicopters and stuff. So I dug that. The scores it was down the middle. So we're sitting at 5.5 right now for Mercy. You can see I'm not going to be as low as what people were saying on the tomato meter. But let's go back and see what some of the critics are saying. Movie Freak, 1 out of 4. At least it's funny. I do have to give Mercy that. Somebody who did like it, Movie Mom. The last part of the movie gets overcomplicated, cutting some logical corners, but Pratt is, as always, a likable presence, and we want to see him prove that he is innocent. Yes, you do. You do want to see him prove his case, right? And that's all we have for now. So, audience people, somebody who didn't like it, Mike, not sure what to say, but this movie sucked. Bad acting, predictable plot, save yourself. Acceptable. Like they try to throw you a few red herrings in there, um, but it's kind of like, as I said, with one of those detective uh, YouTube videos, the true crime videos where they go to the case, the crime scene, and it's like I was enthralled by that. I was hooked. All right, John H. really liked it. This is the best movie I've seen since at least mid 2024. So that's quite the boast there, John. Uh, you didn't see Oppenheimer? Uh, wow. There's been some really other good movies out there. Warfare, Sinners. Come on, what's going on here? But let's see what some other audience says. Then we'll go back to some critics here. Good film, good story, a deep connection between human and AI. Yeah, no, I like this movie because it wasn't demonizing AI, right? Uh, the ending had two twist surprises, uh, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the refreshing take that AI is not all bad, that we can use the resources that AI has, the speed of which it can get into computer systems and just figure out things. Okay, this person is over there now, like using the GPS and stuff like that. Like that's what it was trying to do. It was trying to show you that you can use these tools of AI and help solve things. Like I'll give you an example. We just reviewed Silent Hill, and I asked it to pull up the synopsis of the game and how does it compare to the movie. Um, See, so AI is not all bad, and I like the message in this that you can use it to augment your abilities as opposed to it being, oh no, the judge was behind everything. AI is determined that everybody is bad, and it's like no, we don't need that storyline all the time, and Mercy doesn't take us down that route. So, one other notable critic that we should probably take a look at is Jeremy Johns. He says it's pretty mid at best, and we're talking at best. Well, that just goes to the aspect I was talking about it being kind of like a streaming type movie, right? Uh, it doesn't feel like this was necessarily something that needed to be theatrical. Soren Anderson, Seattle Times. He's down the middle, just like I am. And sigh. The futuristic aspect is chucked straight out the window when the picture concludes in a fistfight, and thus does originality expire. Well, yeah, as I said, I the ending, it's a little bit, it does wrap itself up as a story. I just don't know if it's going to wrap itself up in the way that everybody will like. But it worked in the cohesiveness of what it was setting up, right? I found that it was worth the watch, and I would tell you this: out of Mercy and Return to Silent Hill, I would say watch Mercy. All right. So with that being said, let's wrap up this score and get us out of here for Mercy. The watchability factor is out of a possible 2 points, and if you are curious about the premise and you like Chris Pratt or you're a fan of Rebecca Ferguson, you're curious about this concept of AI and it being like the judge, jury, and executioner, Check this movie out. Mercy, 6.5. I would say 6.5, worthy of a streaming effort, 100% for sure. Just not a theatrical one. All right. As I said, we did react to and did a review for Return to Silent Hill. That's up on the channel as well. If you've liked what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Yeah. Yep. All right. So then, let's pull up some live comments here. Somebody's in the live chat. Get rid of the posters there, James. Hey, James, I have a feeling that the Scream 7 trailer 2 is coming out on Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm not really all that excited about Scream 7. I'm really bummed that they got rid of Melissa Barrera. And as much as I like Nev Campbell, I felt like I just wanted her character to go off into the sunset, and that's it for her. Her story for me was done. Now that she's back, I'm guessing that they're going to kill her off, which I don't really want to see. I'm not interested in that at all. Have you seen the teaser trailer for Darth Maul? I pulled that up. I pulled that up. Um, Shadow Lord. Uh, it's animated. I uh, I would rather see this live action. I'd rather see this done in live action than animated. I know that it's hard because then you'd have to de-age Ray Park, but I think there's a way that you could have done this live action. Um, I liked Maul as a character. I think it was a bit of a stretch to bring him back the way that he did. Uh, I don't know. Shadow Lord streaming April 6th. Let me put this gentle and eloquently. Yeah. So there's definitely fans, and there was nobody that was a bigger fan of Darth Maul. Trust me. I studied this guy when the movie came out. I studied his robes, how he was made, all the designs that went into him. I read what was it, Shadow Hunter. Trust me, I had a big poster of Darth Maul on my wall for the longest of time. I just I don't know. There's just something about the story here that I don't find all that compelling. Maybe I don't know. And then they just released a teaser for Lobo from the Supergirl movie, which I am looking forward to because I do like Millie Alcock and I do like the, the premise of Supergirl. It's just Jason Momoa as Lobo, like he looks the part. We all knew it. Big fans out there of the Lobo character were like, Jason Momoa is the perfect person to be cast, right? As Lobo. But yeah, there she is. See what people are saying. Lobo looks awesome, like they pull him from the comics. Nice, but the bike is fly. So every DC movie will feel like it was directed by James Gunn when Gunn wasn't the director. The main man, he looks better than I thought. Well, we saw a glimpse of him in the first teaser. I just Well, maybe yeah. I just don't I just don't get hyped that much anymore about it. But I should probably get out of here and have some lunch. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm really sorry about the way that my reviews came off today, but when I edit them when I edit them together on for the other review channel, it'll be much better. But you got the gist of what I was saying. All right. Enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be a big snowy event this Sunday, right? Is when this big snowstorm is supposed to hit. So I have to go out and get some supplies so that I don't have to do that when it's all snowy. See you next time, right here on Mirror Domains.